crafts that I most look forward to doing. But when I was getting all the supplies for the crafts, I accidentally ordered a week too many. So now we get to have bonus craft time. Yay! So this one is going to require a few more things than some of our others. But I'm super excited about them, and hopefully they turn out really, really great. So let's go ahead and get started and get our supply list together. Okay, so for this craft, we're going to need a few different things. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to need a tile. So I just went to Lowe's or Home Depot, and they have these in the tile section. I think they're like 15 cents a piece. So we need a tile for this craft. Another thing that we are going to need are Sharpies. All right, everybody loves a good Sharpie project, so these are going to be super important. They need to be Sharpies. They can't just be regular markers. So hopefully you can find some Sharpies around your house. Another thing that we are going to need is rubbing alcohol. So when you go to the store, there's kind of two different types of alcohol. There's 91%, or I think there's 70%. So for this craft, it needs to be the 91% rubbing alcohol. Hopefully you can find it. I had to search high and low for a couple weeks, but I finally found it. So hopefully you guys will be able to find it too, or you already have some at home. That would be awesome as well. Another thing that you're going to need for this craft is a clear enamel spray. I also got this at Lowe's the other day. So once our craft is all done, we're going to spray it on there. So you definitely need to have this as well. And then also something else that I'm going to use for this craft are these little feet. So tiles can tend to be scratchy on the bottom, and we don't want to damage any of your furniture or things like that. So we're going to put a few of these on the bottom just to make sure it slides nice and easy and doesn't scratch anything. And then you're probably going to want to work on a cookie sheet. I put foil over mine just to protect my cookie sheet. So this will be where we design and do the things for this craft. And then if you have an eyedropper or a straw, that would be really great. I don't have an eyedropper, all I have is a straw, so I will use a straw for this project. All right, I think that is everything that we need, so let's go ahead and get started. So parts of this craft are actually really similar to our butterfly craft that we did a couple weeks ago. We're going to be focusing on different emotions and how we're feeling in this moment. So you're going to need the Sharpie markers, like I said. So my pack came with 5 Sharpie markers, so I'm just going to use all 5 markers. So what I want you to do is the colors that you choose, you can use however many you want. I will warn you though, the colors are going to be mixing together, so you might not want to use too many colors and end up with brown. Unless you really love brown, and then by all means, go to town. So I'm going to choose a color, and let's say that I pick up this green, and I'm going to say, you know what? I think green is going to represent happy. So on a piece of paper, I'm just going to write down happy, just to remind myself of what the color green means for this project. All right, so then I have a purple color, so purple is going to represent being bored. I'm starting to go a little stir crazy, so I find myself being bored sometimes. Okay, so after I write all this down, I have my key, and then we are ready to go start working on our tile. Okay, so now that we have the different emotions that we're feeling and color-coded, we're going to pretend kind of like this tile is kind of a snapshot of our heart. And so what I want you to do is I want you to color the tile according to how you're feeling on the inside. So if you're feeling really happy and most of your heart is taken up with happiness, then I would use green and color up a large section. Now it doesn't have to be completely solid. You can have some white space in there because we're going to be using the alcohol to kind of make the colors go whoosh. So if it's not completely perfect, don't worry about it. All right,
so I have successfully colored my tile. So the next thing that we're going to do involves the alcohol. Okay, so at this point in this step, we're definitely going to want to make sure that we have a sibling's help, an older sibling, or a parent, just because this part could get a little messy, but we have our cookie sheet to make sure that the mess stays relatively small. So, all right, so you're going to take your straw or eyedropper, whichever you have, and then you're going to put it in the top of the alcohol. So then I'm going to drop some alcohol onto my tile. Okay, so at this point you don't want to put too much alcohol on there because you'll get white spots like that when I dropped that big amount on there. So after you've put some on there, go ahead and feel free to move the alcohol around, and you'll see that the colors are all kind of running together to make this cool, like, cosmic-y looking tile. So you can see that all the emotions that you've been feeling, again, there's some good days, there are some bad days, some positive emotions and some negative emotions, but they all work together, again, to make something really, really cool. So at this point, what you're gonna do is you're going to let this dry. Okay, so after all the marker and alcohol on top of your tiles has dried, we need to spray the protective layer on it. That way, if you put a glass on your coaster or anything like that, it will not take the color off. Now again, I would recommend you have a parent's help with this part for sure, and you want to make sure that you're paying attention to where you're spraying. Definitely spray this outside, do not spray it inside. We don't want to ruin anything on the inside of our house. So just go and you're going to lightly spray the enamel on your coasters. Alright. Okay, then we're gonna let this dry and then we're almost done with our craft. Alright, so my tiles have had a few minutes to dry. I've sprayed the protective layer on it, and now it's time to put the protective feet on it in order to make sure that we protect the furniture. So this part's really simple. I got bigger circles. You can totally use smaller circles, or even if you just cut out pieces of felt and then hot glue them onto the back, that would work as well. So I'm just going to peel off the back of the felt pad, and then I'm going to stick it on. Alright, so then you can see I have the different felt pads on the back of the coaster. And then, alright, so here is my coaster. So then, check it out! We just made a coaster! So cool! And what I love about this craft, just like we did with the butterfly craft, is that all of our days, all of our emotions, they all work together for who we are. You know, having emotions is not a bad thing. It's what we do with them that's a really important part. And so it's just a really good picture of we are all sorts of emotions, right? All throughout the day we feel different things. But we can have good emotions, we can have negative emotions, and we can still turn out to be something really, really great and beautiful when we focus on the positive and look for areas and opportunities for ourselves to grow and change and develop.